Super facts. The only winner from today's Oval Office debacle is Vladimir Putin, and anyone who thinks this is a good thing for the world is stunningly deluded. Imagine showing the GOP this 45 years ago. It's time to leave NATO and the UN. I agree. Damn, we got the US becoming an isolationist state before GTA 6. I'm a former federal worker. I voted for Trump in every election. I'm a owner-operator trucker. My wife is a federal worker. We're hard-working people who bust ass to get the job done. Don't lump every federal employee together, it's a mistake. Rep. Thomas Massey says that NATO is a relic. The simping for Russia is tiring. NATO is a Cold War relic that needs to be relegated to a Tarkin kiosk at the Smithsonian. NATO is the strongest alliance we have or have ever had. It's much more useful than the United Nations. Teats on a boar hog are more useful than the United Nations. What happened to Republicans supporting NATO and trying to bolster it? Now they want to leave? Oh, it's probably because Trump or Elon Musk said something about leaving, so now everyone's going to blindly follow suit in that opinion. A farming county that voted just shy of 70% for Trump loses its farm services centre, which connected farmers with government programs. This is right before planting season begins. What do you mean the guy who benefited from Russian election interference is pro-Russia? I'm not just how fast Trump's support of Ukraine has changed. Very curious to see how this plays out. If you're Zelensky, do you leave without signing a deal? I find it so funny that Trump tries to get along with dictators and not very nice people for some sort of feigning of a friendship. The first quarter is on track for negative GDP growth, Atlanta Fed indicator says. Congratulations, you fucked around and found out yourself. The White House has fallen. I never thought I'd see the day. And I was an avid Trump supporter, but he went too far with Ukraine. They who try to fight for their right to be a nation. I honestly thought Americans stood for this. But no more. Crazy times. The 3 times Trump voting disabled vet government worker who got fired by Doge also took her anger to Twitter. Should all federal employees be required to send a short email with some basic bullet points about what they accomplished last week? The public votes overwhelmingly in favour. I mean the public in question just being people on Twitter or people who follow you. Anyway, besides that, I would have gladly sent an email, but you fired me instead. I voted for Trump, James Diaz said. I still support a lot of his policies, but I don't necessarily support the method that he's implementing them. Monmouth veteran laid off amid federal workforce reductions. Current President Trump said time and time again on the campaign trail that this was the plan. I truly don't see what the issue is. This is what people voted for, right? Silly, really. A TikTok video about why a conversation cannot be had with a MAGA causes Talara to apologize for voting for Trump. This is the first time I'm admitting this. I made a mistake in November. I feel sick. I hear you. I see you. And you can have a conversation with me. I'm embarrassed and regret my vote. I'm truly sorry I allowed wool over my eyes versus seeing reality. I fully admit I got caught up in MAGA. I've been a Republican my entire life, but I cannot stand for the insanity that's unraveled since he's been sworn in. What he said about Gaza and Ukraine? Heartbreaking. Him bowing to Elon and Putin? I've lost sleep. I have immense regret. I support and understand your words. Why does this keep happening? Hey, if I vote for you, Mr. Leopard, you won't eat my face, right? Surely not. Huh, cool. Anything to own the libs. Whatever. Voted for Trump 3 times, got fired. I'm an army veteran, disabled, and have 5 years of government service. But because I changed agencies and my service didn't count toward a new probationary period, I had to start over with a new probationary period. Because the HR rules are stupid. I lost my job. None of us should have to endure this, but especially those who should have protections we've earned. I voted for you 3 times, and believe in what you want to do, but this isn't the way. I've been in a bullshit AI job market for months, and I can't afford to get back into it. I have a husband who's disabled and children. This is disgusting and irrational and wrong on so many levels. Grabbing the fresh fruit because it's low-hanging and leaving the rotten to hide in the trees is not what's right for the American people. The rotten fruit won't go away, and just because someone responds to an email lying about what they did last week isn't gonna do shit either. But sir, I was just an innocent bystander. I'm gonna say it, and it needs to be said. I am a die-hard Republican, and yes, I voted for Trump. With that said, the hypocrisy the Republican Party is showing is appalling at best. I would have never voted for all of this happened in just a month. I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I didn't vote for the president of Ukraine to get ousted. And I sure as hell didn't vote for half the Americans being laid off. Yes, I understand bringing jobs back to America, but now the job market is flooded because of how this is implemented. Yes, I understand tariffs, but it's just being passed down to the now unemployed. Yes, I'm one of those innocent bystanders that got laid off due to foreign aid, and my heart is broken. Trump administration, do better. This is embarrassing and insulting. You're not much of an innocent bystander if you did in fact vote for all of this to happen. He was pretty vocal what he's gonna do, and you voted anyway. So don't try and call yourself a bystander. Mitch McConnell declares that Trump is unfit for public office, labeling him as lacking intelligence, volatile, and unpleasant, while denouncing the MAGA movement as entirely misguided. Mitch McConnell slams Trump as unfit for office and criticizes MAGA ideology. In a rare and forthright assessment of his party, the outgoing Senate Republican leader, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, asserted that former President and current President Donald Trump has severely undermined the Republican Party's competitiveness, citing excerpts from Michael Tackett's latest biography. As reported by CNN, McConnell offered a damning critique of both Trump and the broader MAGA movement, dismissing it as completely wrong. How it started, and how it's ending. In the stretch of rural Kentucky that borders West Virginia, voters reliably send Republicans to Congress. Representative Hal Rogers, who represents the area, did not even face a Democratic challenger in 2024. More than 40% of the population there relies on Medicaid, the public health insurance plan for low-income Americans. In eastern Louisiana, where Representative Julia Letlow, a Republican, was elected in 2024 by a wide margin, about 1/3 of the population is enrolled in the program. Today's Situation Report focuses on 2 key developments. House Republicans have pushed forward a budget framework closely aligned with President Donald Trump's domestic policy vision, proposing significant reductions in Medicaid funding by $880 billion over the next decade. Meanwhile, the NIH funding freeze continues to cause delays in grant reviews and threatens the stability of biomedical research, compounding the uncertainty and upheaval in the field. See, you know where that $880 billion is gonna go? Into military spending! Yay! I love the military-industrial complex. A woman who said she would vote for Trump to get pedophiles off the streets isn't happy when Trump helps to free a sex trafficker. I voted for an administration that would stop human trafficking at our borders. I voted to get rapists and pedophiles off the streets. Trump's action in freeing the Tate brothers was a stunning portrayal of his mandate. Okay. Are you really that shocked though? Nope, just live it. Tough luck for old MAGAs. Elon Musk calls Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Cubans in Miami finding out. How long for the orange blob to defend the Castros and lift all sanctions? I supported Trump for 3 reasons. 1. His tough policy against Cuba and Venezuela. 2. Because he promised to end the war, which no people should experience. 3. Because the previous administration was a complete disaster. But I do not support what is agreed. He is behaving like a real clown. Which will be the future? United States allied with totalitarian Russia and Europe with communist China? There'll be nothing to fight for. And up next, we have a game of propaganda telephone. This is the main problem with the post-truth online information ecosystem in a nutshell. A MAGA user claimed last night that Democratic politicians Blinken, Rice, Nuland and Vindman had a conference call with Zelensky on his flight to Washington and advised him to stand strong and be tough against Trump, which directly led to the argument with Trump and Vance in the Oval Office. She cites no source or evidence for her claim and goes on to admit she was merely speculating. 3 hours later, MAGA users rehashed that claim, saying rumor has it that those 4 Democrats did this and therefore violated the Logan Act. Again, no evidence is provided for this claim at all. But the tweet goes viral. This morning, major MAGA muse with 560,000 followers tweets the same claim as a news story. This time saying Obama was also directly involved and Zelensky was told to reject the minerals deal. Once again, zero source or evidence is provided by a muse, but the tweet racks up 1.7 million views. Finally this morning, Trump's envoy Richard Grenell shares the same claim, saying it's very serious, meaning this claim has now reached the president's senior aides. At no point throughout this entire cycle has any of these users bothered to simply ask, is there any source or evidence of this? And now, millions of people likely believe this is true, that Zelensky, on the advice of senior Democrats, scuppered the minerals deal and got into an argument with Trump and Vance. There's still no source or evidence that this actually happened, but evidence no longer seems to matter in the post-truth online information ecosystem. Remember, if you're looking at some claim, look for evidence, and watch out for false information and just flat-out lies. But something that isn't a lie is if you want to see more of this gay guy reading stuff, you should like and subscribe. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.